U.S. officials have announced a trade deal with China. Oh, yeah, there's that. Have we told you about that yet? No. That has been reached. Both sides say they will lower tariffs on the other for the next 90 days, each side dropping tariffs by 115%. So U.S. officials say tariff levels on China are going to go down to 30%. China has dropped tariff levels down to 10%. Wait, that's good math for the United States. Officials from each side say they have agreed to setting up a consultation mechanism for trade and other economic issues. There's going to be further talks on these issues as well. Both sides met in Switzerland over the weekend. Just glad it wasn't New Jersey. For more, let's bring in Republican strategist Bobby Eberle. Bobby, of course, host of the 13-minute News Hour. Bobby, great to have you on the show. So I tell you what, the art of the deal. Here we go, and I'm ready for those. I'm ready for those stock markets. I guess there's just one stock market. That stock market to boom here and very shortly.
Absolutely, and guys, I got to say it's an honor to be here on Masculine Monday. I appreciate the invitation. I'm going to think about that today. But you know, David, you brought up a good point, and that is one of the things, the criticisms against President Trump during this term. The Democrats can't find anything, right? So what they have to talk about is instability or uncertainty or chaos. Well, now we see step by step that every time President Trump addresses a problem, in going back to the art of the deal, he makes progress. And this is progress. So whether the T's are completely crossed and the I's are dotted, you see whether it's a UK deal or with tariffs on China right here, you're making progress toward an end goal. That brings stability, and the market should respond quite favorably to that. But there should have been no doubt from the onset, because President Trump said we're going to address A, we're going to address B, we're going to address C, and step by step he's doing it. I think this is great progress. It's a great move, and we'll see the results.
And Bobby, bigger picture, does this create an atmosphere in which some of our other trading partners now can say, all right, the United States has really overcome the biggest hurdle in terms of creating a deal with China. Now we can deal as well, or now it's more palatable for us to reach a deal with the United States as well and move forward?
Well, I think the UK deal really started that. I think that was the key to get things going, the first real deal with one of our neighbors, one of our allies. This is kind of an adversary, to say the least. So it does help, but I think the UK deal really started us down the road. This just shows that the two global superpowers know that it's not beneficial to get into these trade wars. Something needs to be done. So that brings in the deal making. And what better deal maker than President Trump? And the world knows that. The world leaders know that. So yeah, this is going to be a step in the right direction. There's other deals that are already being negotiated. You'll see that with some Asian nations as well coming up soon, I bet. And so this is just one more step. But this one, I think, really is to kind of de-escalate, was the theme of the weekend. And I think they did that in spades.
And let's hope those markets take off. Well, Bobby, I want to shift your attention to a different topic. There's an ABC News headline that reads, Trump administration poised to accept Palace in the Sky as a gift for Trump from Qatar, according to sources. And apparently Donald Trump toured this plane in February, and some ethical questions could come about the receiving of this plane. What are your thoughts on the president receiving a presidential plane from Qatar?
Well, you know, if there was anything to dangle in front of the president as far as like a tempting gift, it's this, because he's been wanting a new Air Force One for a long, long time. There's been delays and cost overruns from Boeing. They were set to deliver 2 new ones, finally, that weren't scheduled to go online until after he was president. And after some, major griping, now they're saying 2027 maybe, or so we'll see. But, the White House, through the legal department, through DOJ, has put out a number of statements already saying that, hey, this isn't going to a person, it's going to a country. It's going to then be going to the presidential library. But I think it definitely provides fodder for the Democrats to talk about, corruption or bribery or whatever they want to talk about this week, But it's a very tempting gift for someone that desperately wants a new Air Force One.
Bobby, don't get me wrong. I mean, legally, I'm sure it's ultimately fine from a loophole standpoint or whatever. But it just feels, I'll be honest with you, it feels icky. Qatar, I mean, if we can just be honest here for a second. I mean, Qatar is funding Hamas, number one. And then if this headline was Joe Biden takes a plane from China and uses it for the Biden Presidential Library, we'd be up in arms. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, let's have a real conversation. I mean, not that we are having a real conversation, but let's have a reality check here that it might be legal, but it doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right at all to me.
Yeah, I agree with that, and not so much on on the Qatar side, but just the gift itself. I think this would be something that you should politely decline. I mean, the presidents get gifts all the time, but they don't get a massive $400 million plane. That's what the estimated worth of this plane is. And so, yeah, it doesn't really feel right. I think Qatar has stood by the United States and has been a very strong ally in the Middle East, actually. And so, but this gift, I would pass on it and get Boeing to do its job and get those other two online.
Hey, Bobby, I want to switch gears one last time, and I was reminded because you've got the U.S. Capitol there behind you. We're expecting the markup of the budget bill to come out tomorrow, maybe even Wednesday. So let's talk about that because, say, 2 weeks ago, we thought this thing was probably going to be a slam dunk. The more time goes by, the more it seems like there's grumblings from within the Republican conference. How do you see all of this going? What are you hearing? Are you concerned at all about this thing getting over the finish line in a timely manner? Yeah, it probably will get over the finish line, but when you couch that in a timely manner.
Well, I am actually, and you guys brought up some good points on the battles, the internal battles between the moderates and the conservatives. I look at it more as DC establishment versus America first. And I read a story just this morning that shows that President Trump, he has the Republican House, Republican Senate, and he's signed the fewest bills of any president in this period of time in the last 70 years. And we should really be moving on bills. I think he's signed 5. And we've got control of everything. We need to move, and we need to dismantle the deep state, dismantle this uniparty, and put forward legislation that's great for America. David, real quick aside, I thought you brought up some good points on the pharmaceutical bill. I mean, basic economics 101, Thomas Sowell's book, when you do price controls, it leads to shortages. And but maybe they spread this globally and it comes at it from a different angle. It's not that the government's imposing a price limit, but it just says the American people aren't going to pay more than this. I know it's nuanced, but it might be a way to actually get some relief for the American people.
For sure. Absolutely, Bobby. Good point.
Bobby, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave the conversation there. If it were up to us, I think we'd have another 30 minutes with you, but we'll bring you back on soon. Good to see you, my friend.
Sounds good. Thanks guys.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.